From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your afternoon update.
You want to go where to buy a new refrigerator? Steve's A to Z Appliance in Cottonwood? In Cottonwood? Just a 10-minute drive. And they'll save us money. New and used, honest, reliable, factory-trained repair service and parts, and they'll save us money. And dispose of this thing? We gotta make the short drive to Steve's A to Z. Thanks, son.
Steve's A to Z Appliance, front and main streets in Cottonwood. Drive a little, save a lot.
Hello everyone, I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Kruger, Weather NorCal. You are watching your afternoon update here on this Wednesday. You know, I do most of my in-depth fire coverage in the morning hours, and that's because that's when most of the data is coming in. So there are a couple of things I want you to do when you want to find out the latest on a fire during the day. So you can go to weathernorcal.com and then you scroll down just a little bit here, you'll see where it says fire danger. So just click right there, and that'll take you to several resources for you. Start off with watch duty, and then of course there are other places where you can find evacuation orders and warnings for your area. Now, if you want to watch a video with my in-depth forecast on it, actually I think your best place to go is going to be the banner right above fire danger. See, it says Coffee with Kruger. You click on that, it'll take you to a page where you can click on the latest, what was recorded live video, and usually at the very beginning we start talking about that fire and you can get the latest on the fire. Now the reason I say that is because a lot of times after recording the 6 o'clock in the morning hit, usually shortly after that we'll get new data coming in on the fires, and that's where Coffee with Kruger kind of comes in. So you know, you can watch either one of them, you'll get some pretty good in-depth fire coverage. But I think Coffee with Kruger is going to be one of your best bets when you're talking about that. All right, so again, we're talking about that fire coverage. Let's take a look at your forecast, though. We're not going to be talking a whole lot about the current fires. We're going to talk about the fire danger and the fire weather. But we've also got heat to contend with as well. You know, we got to see a very small but brief break from the heat. And when I say that, instead of 115, it was like 109. Right? So, yes, it was a small drop, but at least it was a brief break as well. We're going to be back up again over 110 degrees for many of us in the valley, starting today and through at least the first half of the weekend. Hot and dry conditions will keep that fire danger high. Potential for mountain thunderstorms over the weekend. We'll talk about that in more detail. And highs closer to normal for this time of the year by Sunday into early next week. But normal for this time of the year, as you know, is nothing too terribly chilly, is it? It's still pretty high. We'll take a closer look at that here in a second. Hazy, smoky in some spots here, especially Trinity County, Siskiyou County, Modoc County. Temperature still most likely over 100 degrees, even for the mountains. 112 degrees in the valley. But there it is, the coast. Mainly sunny skies. I think we're going to see still some patchy fog out there throughout the day, but temperatures in the low 60s. So the smoke, as you can see here, we've got two fires that are producing most of the smoke in the area. Number one, the Shelley fire west of Scott Valley. And of course, in southern Oregon, there's another fire there. The areas that will be impacted by the southern Oregon fire will mainly be eastern Siskiyou County and Modoc County. That's where most of your smoke and haze is going to come from. Now, for places like Etna, Scott Valley, Mount Shasta, you'll get a combination of both the Shelley fire and the fire from southern Oregon kind of coming down. We will eventually, as we go into tonight, see a plume of that smoke try to come into the valley. So tomorrow morning, for places like Redding, maybe even Red Bluff, especially west side of the valley, we could be looking at maybe a bit of that orange glow from the sun, because it looks like as we start getting these darker shades, kind of the yellowish, grayish color, that's when you're seeing a better chance of seeing some of that hazy, smoky conditions. Most likely not smelling smoke, but you may notice that haze. We go into Thursday afternoon, that kind of dissipates. This here is, for the most part, nothing to be concerned about. You may notice just a very small haze out there, but nothing to be concerned about. Shouldn't impact the air quality. And of course, most of the smoke is up near the fire, Shelley fire. There's again another plume of smoke coming in from the southern Oregon fire to eastern Siskiyou County, Modoc County. Once again, that's Thursday night. Then maybe a smaller plume of smoke trying to make its way to the valley by tomorrow night. All right, so the winds, same pattern, and everyone's going to notice the same thing. Calmer winds in the morning, stronger winds in the afternoon. Calm winds Friday morning, stronger winds Friday afternoon. And again, the stronger winds, what I mean by that is, yeah, not a major wind event, but still 15 to even upwards of 20 miles per hour, and that is enough. Should a fire start, and should there be any current fires, that just doesn't help matters. So we look at the fire weather risk here for, of course, this afternoon, getting in that high range. We go into tomorrow afternoon. It's getting a little bit higher. See how we're seeing the darker reds in there? But notice again, in central Siskiyou County, Shasta Valley, Modoc County, Eastern Mountains, seeing a lot of the oranges on the map. That's in that high range. All right, so that's going to be standard now. We're kind of moving forward through the month of July, and not to mention into August. What we're seeing right here is going to be normal. And in fact, in the coming weeks and months, we'll see more of it spread westward into Trinity County and western Siskiyou County. But notice the fire danger does get a little bit higher by the time you do get into Friday afternoon. Speaking of Friday, one of the things that we have to be on the lookout for. Now, I don't 100% agree on exactly the extent of where these dry lightning strikes will be, but this is something that one particular forecast model is picking up on. As you can see, the areas in red is where there's a potential for dry lightning. I think most of it will be to our south, which we'll see on future casts here in a second. Now, again, I think it's overdoing it as far as how far west it comes, but especially the east side here, we could be looking at the potential for some dry lightning strikes. That may extend into Sunday, especially up to the north. And the reason for all that is monsoon moisture. Now, you're not going to see it on this. We still have high pressure in place. We've got low pressure to our north and west. That's going to keep, of course, that heat in place, and the western United States in general still under excessive heat watches, warnings, and advisories. But it's becoming less and less lit up to the north. Why? Because the ridge of high pressure is beginning to shrink, and especially as we get towards the end of this week. But it's still, as you can see, still very hot here through this week. So there's that ridge of high pressure. It's building, it's expanding. Again, we talk about the dome of high pressure. When that dome is like this, we have a big dome like this, that's when we have very hot temperatures. Center of the dome, right here, that's where the hottest temperatures are. Outer perimeter of the dome, not as hot, but still very hot. But what happens is, and what's going to happen, as we go into Saturday, Sunday, and early next week, what's going to happen with that dome is we're going to see several storm systems ride over that ridge of high pressure. So you see how we're not seeing this prominent dome that we were seeing earlier, and we're seeing less in those deeper reds. What it's telling us is that the ridge of high pressure is breaking down. So we have this dome initially, this big dome. What's going to happen is that dome is going to shrink. It's not going to be as wide, it's not going to be as strong, it's not going to be as hot. As a result, our temperatures will start to drop back down closer to normal. Finally, right? Finally. But again, we're going to have to get through the rest of this week. Now we look at Futurecast. There you can see the fog along the coast. It's going to have a hard time burning off this afternoon, I think, in some spots here. But I do think there may be a better chance through Thursday, but then by Thursday, you can see some breaks in the cloud cover there. But look at Friday. Not only are we seeing more of that fog on Friday, especially in Humboldt County, not as much for Del Norte. Look at this. Now our attention is going to be focused on this. Now, again, I think most of the thunderstorms will be maybe in southeastern portions of Plumas County southward. We could see some of that kind of spread to the north and west, but it's Saturday and Sunday where some of that could be moving on in. Let's zoom it out here. Let's get a better perspective. This is the long-range forecast model. It's not as exact in location and timing, but it gives us an idea. So you can see there's the area of high pressure. This is normal for this time of the year, folks. Monsoon moisture. You hear about it almost every summer. The monsoon moisture is over the desert Southwest every single year. Now, the area of high pressure associated with that, what it does is it kind of moves back and forth west and east, sometimes north and south as well. It kind of just moves around throughout the summer. The positioning of that high pressure system depends on whether or not we get any of that monsoon moisture. So the positioning of it on Saturday, Sunday is going to be like this. Clockwise rotation around that high. It transports that monsoon moisture into our area. Now, I think most of that monsoon moisture and most of the thunderstorms will be to the east of us, over Nevada, into Utah, into Arizona, even parts of southern portions of Idaho as well. It will come as far west, though. I think it's places like Alturas, maybe Susanville, maybe just as far west as places like Boerne. That's Saturday, that's Sunday. As we go to Monday, Tuesday, I'm seeing less of that monsoon moisture kind of coming in. But look at how it kind of pulsates. You see the thunderstorms develop in the afternoon, they die down, develop in the afternoon. Again, that's that monsoon moisture in the heat. But again, the best chances will be Friday, Saturday, Sunday. As we go into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, less of that monsoon moisture, but still that potential. And that's something we got to keep a close eye on. So, we were worried about just the heat, dry conditions, and the winds. Now we've got to worry about the potential for dry lightning, especially this weekend. But before we get there, let's get through this heat wave, shall we? You see temperatures about 110 degrees or higher for most of us in the valley. Down to the south, you may be able to dodge that 110 mark, especially for places like Corning southward. 84 Lassen Park, 102 though out in Susanville. For the coast, temperatures low 60s. Notice the haze and the smoke. So again, you have the fire here, you have the fire here. Most of that smoke and haze will be to the north and then making its way down into Trinity County as well. Keep in mind, you've got the fire in northern Mendocino County that could bring some more smoke down into portions of southern Trinity County. So I think this is a good representation of where most of that smoke will be. You may see some of that haze trying to work its way into the valley later tonight and into tomorrow morning. All right, so let's take a look at your 7-day outlook. It's hot. Still hot through the weekend, at least the first half of the weekend, right? Still 107 to 110 through Saturday. Then by Sunday, look at that, even Red Bluff, Chico, you could drop below 100 degrees by the time we get into early next week. Take a look at your 7-day outlook for the coast, mid-60s for the next 7 days. All right, no big surprises there, right? But look at the coast, look at the inland areas, that is. I can see temperatures in the upper 90s by Sunday. Still around 100 degrees for Weaverville on Sunday, but upper 90s by the time you get to Monday and Tuesday of next week. And we take you out towards Siskiyou County, Modoc County, and also Eastern Mountains. There it is, see that? There's that chance for showers and thunderstorms I was talking about. And I may have to include that into Sunday as well. We'll see. But for now, I think the best chances will be on Saturday. But on either side of that, for Friday and Sunday, that's something we've got to watch very closely as well. But also, kind of taking our focus away from the chance for thunderstorms, temperatures are dropping low to mid 90s, especially by Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday.
Let nothing stand between you and the tree stand with this great offer on the fast, durable Kubota Sidekick. Featuring a gas-powered engine that delivers a top speed of 40 miles per hour, outstanding acceleration and handling with cargo, and a 2-year, 1,000-hour warranty. Get the Sidekick now for 0 down, 0% APR for 36 months or save $1,000.
Tractors, trailers, rentals.
You do it all, we do it local.